Okay, so there's pros and cons to living pretty much anywhere in this country. I've lived in Utah my entire life, and I have people on my team that are both from Utah as well as from different places. So we have a really good perspective on helping people make the move to Utah. So whether you already live here and you're looking to make a new home, or perhaps you're looking to make the move to Utah, you're absolutely going to want to know these 15 things if you're making that move, and you want to know them prior to making those decisions so that you can be well informed and make the best educated decision for yourselves. All right, let's jump right into number one. Let's talk about cost of living. Cost of living throughout the country, especially in places that are rapidly growing like Utah, has gotten a little expensive. I mean, inflation has taken hold, rising costs in terms of real estate and everything in between, the cost of insurance, the cost of utilities, everything has seemingly gone up tremendously. And that cost of living is something worth noting if you're looking to make the move to Utah. If you're coming from some states, you might find that it's lower here. If you're coming from other states, you might find that it's drastically higher here. Ultimately, it depends on how much your income is based on your job or your business, because that, of course, will greatly influence what your experience is. For a lot of local people that are working wage-earning jobs, they don't see the potential because the housing costs have outpaced their wages. If you're in a higher level position within a company where you have a really great income, Utah might be a better place than where you're coming from. If you're coming from California or New York, or maybe even other parts of the country, you might find that it's a relief here in terms of housing costs. But the overall cost of living here is something you definitely need to investigate, and you definitely need a guide. So whether that be property taxes, utilities, all of the different things that come into play, whether that be education, private education, charter schools, whatever it is, if you have a family, you need to know these answers for cost of living. And that's precisely why I'm here. So if you have questions about cost of living, drop a comment below. Ask me those questions, because I always answer each and every comment in my comments, and I make sure to do the research to make sure I'm giving quality information as well. So drop a comment below if you have any questions. All right, and staying on that theme, the next thing I want to talk about is housing costs. It's the housing market and the housing costs. The housing market in Utah has been on fire ever since 2010. It seems like well before that as well. Honestly, it really felt like the 2002 Winter Olympics was kind of a catalyst to Utah's coming out party, so to speak. That's when people really started to make the move here after the Olympics. And we saw that boom right before the financial crisis of 2008, but we've seen a steady stream of growth each and every year. In fact, for many years, we averaged over 100,000 people per year moving into the state, and that's net in-migration. And of course, there are so many factors that come into play for you personally, depending on what you're looking to accomplish with respect to the housing market. I have my thumb on the pulse of the entire housing market throughout the state of Utah, and my team and I help clients move from all over the country to all over Utah, whether that be up in Ogden or in Salt Lake City or the surrounding communities, or in Utah County in some of the fastest growing cities in the state, as well as St. George or Park City. All of these different areas are something that we take very seriously. We do our research, we know the markets like the back of our hands, but we also know the new construction, the developers, the regional builders, the local home builders, the national home builders that are building product right here in the state, so we can guide you through the process. If the housing market is something you can handle here, depending on where you're coming from, we're definitely here to be your guide. All right, and moving on, the next thing you're gonna have to know about being able to afford that house and afford the cost of living is the job market. What is the job market here really like? A lot of the people that are making the move to Utah already have a job lined up, or they're just making a transfer within the same organization that they're already working for. So it might not apply to you, but if you're looking to make that move and find a new job, Utah's job market is incredibly strong. It doesn't necessarily play out for people that are earning wage-earning jobs, but for salaried positions and definitely for higher level positions, the job market here is incredibly strong, and it ranks amongst the top states in the entire country. And so whether you work in the tech scene or you work healthcare, or perhaps you work in aerospace and defense, or even if you're looking to start your own business, Utah is a great place to do so. I would encourage you to do your research, but if you want some help and guidance in that area as well, we're here to help. All right, now this one is one that some people just don't like, and that's our climate. Some people love the fact that we have the 4 seasons here. Some people love that we have a drier climate here. I personally love the dry climate. I don't like humidity, but a lot of people do. A lot of people love the more humid climates back east or in the south. I personally love the dry climate here, but it does come with its negatives as well. We definitely see that our respiratory systems, our skin can dry out tremendously, especially in the winter months. And we definitely have a little bit of bipolar weather patterns hitting us in the spring and the fall, especially in the springtime. Sometimes it feels like, well, spring's here upon us, things are starting to bloom, and then boom, we get a big snowstorm. So if those seasonal changes are not something that's really exciting for you, you might want to reconsider and live somewhere else. But for the people that really enjoy those seasons, Utah is one of the best places in the country. You absolutely get to experience all that the four seasons have to offer. You get snow in the winters, you get nice hot summers where you can actually enjoy because it's not too humid, but you really get to experience everything here in the state of Utah. I personally love it, but I can totally relate to the fact that some people just don't love that. All right, the next thing you've got to know before making the move, you've got to avoid living here unless you can handle the fact that we are just an outdoor type people, right? The outdoors are right in our backyard. We have 5 national parks. We have so much to discover, and sometimes those outdoors get a little busy as well, especially if it's close to the Wasatch Front. So if you're looking to make the move here and enjoy those outdoors, be prepared to know that you've got to find the spots where there's maybe perhaps fewer people, but also find the places and the times of the week or times of the year that are most beneficial to go there too, because as the state grows, so does the congestion in these outdoor attractions. So you might want to consider doing some research or asking for some help to find out what some of the best things you can do outdoors and enjoy this beautiful landscape, because Utah honestly has some of the best landscapes in the entire country. Definitely worth getting to know and understand and explore. If you need help, let us know. Okay, so moving on, the next thing I think you really absolutely need to know about Utah is the educational system. If you have children, if you have a family, or if you yourself are looking for secondary education through a local university, you might want to do your research. Overall, Utah ranks number 3 in the country for education. There are pros and cons, of course. We're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. We do spend more out of our budget for education as a state than any other state in the country, and we finally cracked the top 10 in terms of starting pay for teacher salaries. But where Utah really shines, in my opinion, is the diversity of educational options, whether that be public school, private school, charter schools, magnet schools, or homeschooling. Utah is one of the places where you have the most freedom to explore all of the options and pick what works best for your family. And I want to make sure that people are aware, in some of the fastest growing communities, those schools, though they're brand new, can be quite full. So overcrowding in some schools is certainly a problem. Class sizes can be a problem because we do have more children here in the state of Utah than anywhere else in the country. So you might want to take that into account and do your research in terms of schools. We as real estate agents, we can't necessarily directly guide you based on school rankings, but we can absolutely provide the resources to give you the most qualified and relevant information to make sure you're getting proper research so that you can know that you're making the best decision for your family, whether that be public school, private school, charter schools, or anything in between. And as I'm talking to new clients every single day that are making the move to Utah, education always pops up. It's usually one of the top factors that people are really most concerned about when making the move. So if that's you, please reach out to me. We can have a conversation and make sure that you're making the correct decision for you and your family. All right, next up, let's talk transportation. Pretty much every city in the state of Utah, with the exception of Salt Lake City, lags behind in terms of public transportation. I think American cities are typically, generally speaking, poorly planned, where you pretty much need an automobile to make it anywhere, to do anything. However, there are new developments coming right now to the state of Utah that will buck this trend, and that happens to be both in Salt Lake County as well as Utah County, but Daybreak specifically, the Point development in the southern portion of Salt Lake County, as well as Utah City just down near Provo. These are some up-and-coming areas that are going to buck this trend. But overall, when we talk about public transportation, Salt Lake City is the light on the hill. It is the place where we have the best public transportation systems in the form of, we have a front runner train that runs all along the Wasatch Front. We have a light rail system called TRAX that runs throughout the Salt Lake Valley. And with the recent announcement that we will absolutely be the host for the 2034 Winter Games, we can definitely expect that transportation system is going to expand, not only in Salt Lake County, but maybe down into Utah County and up north as well. Overall, I give Salt Lake City itself a really good score for public transportation, but the state as a whole doesn't quite pass that test. But I do see a lot of improvement coming with that infrastructure that will be built out because of the future Olympics. All right, next up, let's talk about the elephant in the room. It's culture. The cultural experience you're going to have in Utah will likely be very different than anywhere else you could possibly live, and definitely different from where you're coming from. So whether you're coming from California or Florida or New York or Minnesota, it doesn't matter. The cultural experience that you're going to experience here might be quite different, and that is primarily because of the people that settled here. As members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, 42% of Utah identifies with that faith, and so with that comes a different and a unique culture. It is absolutely family friendly. It is welcoming. welcoming, but I can absolutely see the cons of it as well. If you're an outsider, you might want to have great conversations with both people that are in the faith as well as people that are not, so that you can gain great perspectives in that regard. I also have many clients that have made the move here, and every single person that's made the move have absolutely loved the culture here because it is so kind and welcoming and family friendly. Those things far outweigh the negatives, but there are negative experiences that some people might feel like they're a little bit of an outsider, and I really hope that that's not the case, because I typically don't think that it's actually intentional, but I absolutely understand that it can take place. All right, the next thing you must know before making the move to Utah, you've got to know the community events here, because that is part of what makes Utah great. It's the festivals, it's the Sundance Film Festival, it's the farmers markets, the rodeos, the different events that happen throughout all the communities year round that really make this place special. So if you're looking to plug into a specific area, a specific city or neighborhood, you want to know where the farmers markets are, you want to know where the different events are, the car shows, the concert series, everything in between. That's why we're here as real estate professionals, and my team and I absolutely love helping people understand and feel like they're moving to a new home and not just a new house. And it's precisely these community events that really make you feel anchored into a community with people just like you that have made the move to Utah. All right, so next up, this is another one that's all over the internet, and of course you've got to know and understand our crazy, weird laws, especially around liquor. Utah kind of has a monopoly on the liquor stores here. It's a state-run institution. If you're going to buy liquor, you've got to go to a state-run liquor store, and that's a little weird if you're coming from a place where that's not the case. Utah is very unique in that regard, and understanding the liquor laws both in restaurants as well as purchasing liquor yourself. Once you understand what those are, I think most people have a really good experience, because you just have to work around it. You have to plan ahead. You just have to understand that that's part of the culture here, and it's a little different, a little quirky. I totally get it, but you want to know what those are. So if you want to know what those are specifically, I can certainly point that out to you. And of course, we can share all of that information with you to make sure that you're prepared before you get here, so you understand exactly what it's like. And although over recent years those laws have loosened significantly, it still is something worth knowing before you make the move. All right, next up, avoid Utah if you don't understand the healthcare system here. I get a lot of people reaching out to me, and some of their biggest things that they want to know about are not only education, but healthcare. What's it really like? What are the healthcare networks here? How well are they run? And we have a few different networks here, and one of them is a local homegrown network and company called IHC, or Intermountain Healthcare. Utah overall ranks incredibly high for healthcare for so many reasons, and so if you're looking for a place that has quality and accessible healthcare options, pretty much anywhere that you live along the Wasatch Front, you're going to find a great hospital and clinics that are close by. You're probably not going to struggle, but if you live in some of the more rural communities, you can definitely sense that there's not going to be the same options. And so if you live anywhere along the Wasatch Front, or even down in St. George or up in Logan, you're going to have wonderful options in terms of healthcare. You might want to have a little guidance as to what to plug into in terms of health insurance here. There are some great options. There's a lot of flexibility, and honestly, I think it's a great place. It's probably one of the best places for healthcare overall. All right, next up, let's talk safety. Crime rates are not something I can share specific to a neighborhood, but overall, Utah is an incredibly safe place to live, as are most of the communities and cities around Utah. So if you're looking for specifics for your neighborhood, I can certainly direct you to certain resources for the cities in which you're considering making the move. But ultimately, the best thing worth understanding is, although crime rates have gone on the rise with larger population growth, which has definitely occurred, the violent crimes have decreased. It's honestly the theft and the petty crimes around the urban areas that have escalated the most, but in the outlying suburban areas, it's still incredibly safe to live almost everywhere in Utah. I'm hoping that based on all the research and the crime rates for different neighborhoods and areas, you'll understand that as well. Hopefully it's safer than the place you're coming from, because that's the case with most people that are making the move here. All right, next up, let's talk utilities. Utilities in some states are absolutely a death blow. For example, in the state of Texas, your electricity bills are going to be crazy through the roof because they don't work on the same national electrical grid as the rest of the country, and their system is a little different and unique, where they've almost privatized the energy output by different companies that are traded on the stock market. But here in Utah, as a utility, overall, all of our utilities, when you factor all of them in, we are the lowest state in the country for utilities, which is really refreshing when you think about the other other higher expenses here, especially with real estate. Now, I understand completely that those lower utilities are not going to soften the blow of a much more expensive home, depending on where you're moving from, but it is nice to know that you're not going to pay through the nose for property taxes and utilities and housing. You at least get a break on some of those other items that really help making living here just a little bit more affordable. Now, I don't know the data around outages specifically, but I do know that Utah ranks incredibly high for reliability for its utilities. We don't see the natural disasters that a lot of places see, and with that, we have a little bit more reliability in our utilities as well, so that's cool. All right, moving on, we're going to talk about the diverse landscape of Utah. There's so much that Utah has to offer that you need to understand before you make that move. For me personally, it's just absolutely incredible that you could be in a lush alpine environment up in the mountains, and within just a short hour's drive, you can be in a completely different environment from the desert to other different landscapes. There's so much that Utah has to offer, and if you're looking at making that move, you've got to be aware of where those places are that you need to go check out. I see so many people make the move here, and they never really get out and explore the different cool things that you get to see and the beauty that Utah has to offer. It's really cool. I would strongly encourage that. I personally love the 5 national parks in southern Utah, along with Lake Powell, but one of my favorite places is Flaming Gorge, which is up in the northeastern corner of the state of Utah. But there are other places like Bear Lake, there's the Bonneville Salt Flats, there's Antelope Island, there's sand dunes. There's so many cool things to go explore and experience in and through the state of Utah. You've got to be aware of where these places are. You might want to consider a guide if you're doing certain activities, whether that be hunting or different things, but ultimately there's everything that you could ever want right here in the state of Utah. And quite honestly, most of the people that I talk to that are coming from all over the country are coming from cities where within an hour or two, there's nothing more than just more of the same. So if you live in an area where a 2 hours drive is literally just getting on the outside of the city, you can live in a completely different environment right here. And I think that is one of the greatest assets that the state of Utah offers. Regardless of where you live, within 30 to 45 minutes, you're in the mountains. In many places, within 15 minutes, you're right up in the mountains and you can explore and enjoy nature at its finest. All right, next up, I want to talk about the friendly communities. Utah has something for everybody here. I've seen a lot of people make the move that simply haven't plugged in and found their people. They haven't found their tribe. They haven't found people with common interests that are like-minded, looking for the same things. Maybe they have the same story, the same background, but in Utah, that's just an excuse. To be honest with you, there's a tribe here for everybody if you simply plug in, because the community atmosphere here is strong. Regardless of where you're coming from, you'll find people that are into any hobby, any interest, any background, or relevant to what you're looking to accomplish. There's something for everybody here. And so if you're looking for that guidance, we are absolutely here as a team to help guide you and make sure that you not only find a house, but you plug into a place that is actually making a home for you. And part of that is definitely plugging into the community and making sure that you can find and seek out the things and the people that you're looking for that will make this place special for you as well. Now, if we haven't met yet, my name is Scott Steele, and my team and I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. We absolutely love helping people discover all things Utah, including Utah real estate, and it's our goal to make sure that everybody that reaches out to us has an incredible experience in making that move. So if that's you, find our contact information in the description below, or you can book a video call with me right here in the pinned comment. Regardless, if you're looking for more information and if this is the type of content that resonates with you, I would absolutely love and appreciate if you hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more content just like this, but it also helps me reach more people that are looking to make that move themselves. And if you're looking for more about life in Utah, check out this playlist or this video, and until the next video, thanks.